Thank you very much for joining the first webinar in the IPERION HS Academy or E-RIHS Academy series, part of our user-focused activities. My name is Matija Strlic, and I'm Professor of Heritage Science at UCL Institute for Sustainable Heritage and Professor of Analytical Chemistry at University of Ljubljana. With Jana Striova, Heritage Scientist at the National Research Council of Italy, we will explore heritage science as a field of scientific inquiry and describe how IPERION HS can help and enable heritage science research. I will probably say many things that are well known to some of you in my part of the presentation, and I certainly don't wish to spend too much time dwelling on the definition, but rather talk about what heritage science actually does and what makes it different to other fields of inquiry. Suffice it to say that the term was first used in 2006 in order to provide a container or an umbrella term, if you like, for the closely related but slightly different domains of conservation science, archaeological science, and historic building science. In 2019, the community developed this grassroots definition in an open and participatory process, which is what is now available in Wikipedia as well as in front of you. However, heritage science is, of course, much older than 2006. One of my favorite examples from the deep past is that of Sir Michael Faraday, who in his 1843 Christmas lecture attributed the decay of leather in bookbinding at his gentleman's club to acidic fumes produced by gas lighting. I'm sure that there are other compelling examples of heritage science, some perhaps much older. But the reason why I like this one is that many will know Michael Faraday from basic electrochemistry, but few know that he was in fact trained as a bookbinder. An excellent example of interdisciplinarity to my mind, and a topic I will return to a little bit later. Of course, the definition itself does not give justice to the diversity of heritage science research. To analyze what the field does, I don't wish to look at strategic directions and policy declarations as these provide pointers for the future. Rather, I will analyze the organic narrative of these documents. So let's use the 2010 Joint Programming Initiative Vision document for this purpose. When analyzing the terminology used in the document, the first pattern that jumps out focuses on the subject matter. It is clear, as would be expected, that the range of heritage typologies of interest is vast. It is also not associated with any traditional categorization of tangible and intangible, archaeology, collections or buildings, material or digital, movable or immovable, and similar. However, it also firmly points at our digital future. The second pattern that can be teased out is related to the broader process of human interaction with heritage. Whether this is about sustainable management, understanding of heritage, or broader aspects of its use and exploitation. This aspect clearly focuses on the questions related to the significance and meaning of heritage. The third pattern that emerges is about the broader heritage environment related to long-term change and the need to develop models and understand risks related to change, and this includes climate change. It is interesting to consider that heritage science research questions can be framed in relation to these two types of interaction between heritage and the human environment and between heritage and the physical environment. From this, we can extract two paradigms that make heritage science stand out in relation to other fields of inquiry or other disciplines, if you like. The science that we do is defined by our cultural environment. This is very different to fundamental fields of science. Chemistry is the same wherever we are. However, heritage may not be. What does this mean for us? For example, while the facilities for dating or provenancing of materials and objects may be the same or similar everywhere, expertise that is needed for data interpretation is not. This is why, when considering facilities that Jana will be talking about later, we must take into account both the kit and the expertise as an integral part of one and the same facility. In fact, one could almost argue that in heritage science, the research questions need to be rooted in heritage, not in science, in order for research to have an impact on heritage. In this, heritage science is a deeply applied domain. Heritage science is also very different from other fields because by doing research, we change the value of heritage that we study. In this, heritage science has deep social relevance, and this is why it has such an impact on tourism, cultural and creative industries, placemaking, and well-being. It is evident that it sometimes does not contribute to better knowledge of spelling, but it can inform the development of new technologies such as 3D printing. It draws people to look closer at objects and in bigger numbers. For example, consider the amazing Operation Nightwatch. Our research can even explore new ways to enjoy and discover heritage, as is the case of olfactory heritage science. Of course, I must mention the main strategies based on policy drivers as well. For anyone interested in the strategic directions the field might be taking, I suggest two documents: the Strategic Research Agenda of the Joint Programme Initiative Cultural Heritage and Climate Change, and the Scientific Strategy of the European Research Infrastructure for Heritage Science. Both were developed with an acute awareness of the complexity of heritage that requires a holistic, inclusive, interdisciplinary, and collaborative approach to research. I will focus on the methods of working next, therefore. The intensively collaborative working culture, which I'm sure Jana will focus on later, is already tangible in the field. In a 2014 survey of heritage scientists, which focused on the UK but included responses from elsewhere across Europe, it became very clear that about 50% of the workforce has a science, technology, engineering, or mathematics background, and about 1/3 has an arts and humanities and social science background. About half of us work in universities and research institutes, and about a half in heritage organizations and industry. And, very importantly, only a minority would describe themselves as users of heritage science research. This goes against the official infrastructure terminology, where the dichotomy providers and users is deeply ingrained, so please bear with us. It is also often claimed that there are not many heritage scientists, but I would respectfully disagree. By drawing a simple comparison between the total number of academic researchers and the total number of outputs, one can calculate the approximate number. Some may work in the field only part-time. Some, like me, are much more fortunate. Given the heritage ecosystem, it is evident that no single discipline can ever address the complexity of the research problems at hand. However, achieving interdisciplinarity, where we not just collaborate with each other, but develop truly new, joint, shared working methods and theories, is not straightforward. We need a range of expertise, and we need both hedgehog researchers who delve deep into the subject matter and those that bind disciplines together with their lateral vision, the foxes, if you like. For anyone interested in another false dichotomy, that is between science and the humanities, Gold is an excellent read. But building effective interdisciplinarity and collaborative research teams is a complex task, requiring an understanding of strategies of diverse institutions involved, as well as the working methods of different disciplines. It requires time and trust, diversity of expertise, and equality of roles. Heritage science has its own study programs. It is developing a shared infrastructure, and I hope I have convinced you that heritage science is developing its own paradigms. However, while some heritage scientists work in areas that do not involve experimental or laboratory-based research, others do. For the latter, Jana's part of the presentation will be of particular interest, I'm sure. Thank you, and I will hand you over to Jana now.
I will start with a little bit of boring part. I will tell you what is the structure, what are the services, and then I will actually explain step by step. I will show you some past successful examples that may be useful in developing your unique research proposal. So, as you can see, we are just celebrating our first anniversary. IPERION HS is an acronym for the Integrating Platforms for the European Research Infrastructure on Heritage Science. The objective is to provide services for you, for external researchers, to address relevant societal and research challenges. So you can actually perform some pretty cool and groundbreaking research. And IPERION is part of the E-RIHS community, and we will see in a while what E-RIHS actually is. IPERION consortium is quite huge. It comprises 16 European Union countries, 2 EU associated countries, and 4 non-EU partners. It involves 67 organizations. So how did we get here? Our community was built and reinforced with the support of several European projects spanning across 20 years of constantly developed cutting-edge service to heritage science domain. So our ultimate goal is actually to establish a permanent, distributed European research infrastructure for heritage science that is called E-RIHS. So the E-RIHS will actually, in the future, continue providing the services that we talk about today. Okay. So those services can be broadly categorized in 2 macro areas: transnational access and Heritage Science Academy. TNA, which is the acronym for the transnational access, entails the cutting-edge European facilities for the analysis, interpretation, preservation, documentation, and management of heritage objects and sites. And as the name suggests, the HS Academy provides the training activities. So you can actually benefit from these services to develop your own skills and to solve your specific research problems, and you can make the difference by contributing to the field. So our infrastructure is open to the researchers from the 4 broad categories. Traditionally, the most represented is the social sciences and humanities domain, but it is a specific remit of IPERION HS to engage with communities of built environment, paleoanthropology, paleontology, and archaeology. So the transnational access offers facilities and related expertise to the research groups that are working in a country other than the one where the requested infrastructure is located. In other words, you cannot apply for the service in your own country. TNA supports excellent original research project and innovation. It is suitable for the new as well as experienced external research groups. You can access the TNA in a coordinated system, that is to say, through a single entry point online, through online catalog of services, where you can request a single or a multi-technique or archive services. The TNA is organized in 3 platforms. Archive laboratories, which is a set of unique archives of scientific data. Fixed laboratories, FixLab, and MOLAB, mobile laboratories with portable scientific instruments. Altogether, the 3 platforms, with the researchers, of course, inside, and the infrastructure, operate through 58 world-class facilities, providing access to more than 170 techniques and archives. At the moment, we operate with a budget of about 3 million euros. So, within the following 3 years, we expect to serve about 300 access projects. You can, of course, beside the TNA, benefit from the activities of the HS Academy. The training events are aimed at developing your skills in the heritage science and gain further understanding into our facilities and expertise and ways to cooperate among the academic community, research institutions, practitioners in an interdisciplinary way, exactly as Matija said before. It is structured into the doctoral summer schools. We have the first edition in this summer, and the second one will be organized in 2023. We have on-site practical training camps. We will have 2 editions, 22 and 23, and they will be especially focused on paleoanthropology and built environment, respectively. We have a monthly appointment of webinar series, and we are developing as well the online training models. Okay, so I invite you to subscribe to our first doctoral summer school that will be focused on excellence in heritage science for conservation and collection care research and access. It is especially suitable for early stage researchers, PhD students, postdocs, but also to practitioners. Okay, so I also invite you to open your calendar and book every first Tuesday of each month for our series of webinars. So the next 3 will be dedicated to the TNA platforms, while the autumn ones will be thematic. So let's get to the business. Let's have a look, and I will guide you step by step on what you need to do in order to develop a sound research proposal. Of course, at the beginning, you have to have an idea. You need to formulate your research idea. Maybe you are working on an interesting restoration project. You are maybe excavating in really interesting archaeological sites. So discuss these ideas within your interdisciplinary team and try to investigate really well the state of art of the problem that you are facing. Then hypothesize, think of the techniques or archives and related expertise that could help you to answer the problems. Okay, then you can browse the catalog of services online, which is on our website, and please do contact user help desk. This is not a mandatory step, but it's really useful as the user help desk can help you both with the administrative issues and with the scientific ones. So the user help desk can also help you connect with the relevant experts. It can help you to build the proposal. Then you need to register and apply through the IPERION HS website. And once the deadline, once the call is closed, you need to wait for the evaluation. There are 2 types of evaluation. Technical one, it's called feasibility, and our internal researchers evaluate the, let's say, the technical soundness of your proposal. Then the proposal passes for the independent peer review evaluation, and the entire process takes about 2 months. So then, if your proposal is approved, you need to start arranging and performing your access. At the end, you have also some obligations, and you will be notified about them through an email. You basically need to write a short report and answer some questionnaires. So the good news that you can actually submit always, all year round. We have total 7 calls with a cutoff deadline every 5 months. As you can see, the first call closed in January, and we are just about to announce the results. We have 2 more calls to go this year in June and November, 2 more in 2022, and the 6th call in February 2023 will be the last one, on the condition that the project will not ask the European Commission for an extension. I would like to mention, and I think this is fair, to the evaluation criteria that the independent peer review panel uses to evaluate your proposal. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you can see the weight of each single criterion that is used. So, of course, the panel looks for the scientific excellence, looks how you assess the state of the art of the topic, and the proposed advancement in the field of heritage science. 20% is given to the valorization and dissemination plan. What is also evaluated is the expertise of user group. So we are again here on the interdisciplinary the importance, because more broad is the representation of the disciplines, the more you will be able to make of the data that you will achieve, or you will get from by accessing the TNAs. And the potential impact of the proposal is also evaluated. So the proposals are then ranked into the main list, the reserve list, and below the threshold, and you are notified of the results by an email. We are also preparing a project proposal award because we will select the best research projects that will be awarded with the fee waiver for the open access publication for an article that builds on the research results obtained through the TNA access. So you can stay tuned. It will be announced on our website. So, of course, it's impossible to cover all the, let's say, huge infrastructure that we are in such a short time. So I please do invite you to visit our website and check for the past research access reports that you can find in the section highlights. And you will see that, that the range of the topics that we cover is really huge, from the fossils to paintings to musical instruments and so on. So I will just now really briefly show you how the individual platform operates. So we start in alphabetical order with the R-Club that operates through 14 archives, mostly represented by the museum galleries, and they contain the scientific data. And I will please stay tuned for a specific webinar in July that will be focused on R-Club. And I show you an example of the past access to the C2RMF in Paris archives that aimed at comparing the materials and styles of the two painters, Titian and Manet, that painted the same subject about 300 years apart. So we were actually able, through advanced data analysis, to compare in homogeneous data sets acquired in two different laboratories on two different paintings located in two different countries, France and Italy, respectively. So what is a good news that actually the history separated those two paintings, but then united them again. So you can actually, if you go to the Louvre, see these two paintings, one next to each other again. So this is really exciting. And we pass to the FixLab platform that is operating through 23 research infrastructures located in 12 countries, offering more than 100 techniques. And again, stay tuned for the specific webinar in May. I will just tell you that the FixLab platform is organized into the large scientific instruments, synchrotrons, neutrons, and so on. And then it has organized the services into the specialized scientific platforms for cultural heritage, for archaeology and paleontology and paleoanthropology, and for restoration and preventive conservation. You can study both the samples and the whole items, and FixLab platform is getting organized for the remote access. So again, one example is the example of how you can use the neutron sources to have a look inside of the container without even opening it. So in this case, the joint tomographies, terahertz, X-ray, and Newton were used to, let's say, characterize this heterogeneous material that was most likely germinated seeds inside of this container. The MOLA platform operates through 17 providers in 10 countries, offering 48 techniques. Again, stay tuned. In June, there will be specific MOLA seminar that will go in depth on what is inside of those 4 categories, offering 2D and 3D analysis, multi-hyperspectral imaging techniques, point analysis, and remote sensing. So this platform, of course, is suitable for analysis of fragile and immovable objects, archaeological sites, and historical monuments. One example is the investigation of the iconic scream painting by Munch. Maybe you have heard something about that in the news, and by the multi-analytical investigation. So you can see a whole array of the techniques that were applied to investigate the materials of this painting. And actually, it was possible to disclose the degradation mechanism of cadmium sulfide pigment that has been caused mainly by the moisture in the air. And what is important, that the consideration for the conservation conditions of this painting was possible to make thanks to the investigation allowed by this research infrastructure. So I would like to announce the following FixLab webinar that will take place in May on 4th of May. And I would like to thank you for the attention. And I would like just to mention that your project can make the difference. You can contribute to the conservation, valorization, and fruitability of cultural assets. So please give it a try.